Kia ora whānau, and welcome to another episode of Get a Job and Get Healthy with Costas Enterprises. I am your host, as always, Alex Costas. I do apologise for the lateness of this podcast episode. I know usually I try to deliver all my podcast episodes on Thursdays, but of course yesterday was New Year's Eve. So to start off with, I want to wish everyone a happy new year. I know that for a lot of people, 2020 has been a bit of a year that, well, let's face it, we've had COVID, we've had all these other fun things, all these famous people pass away, and, you know, generally it's been a pretty shit year for a lot of people, being in lockdown, not being able to see family, all that sort of stuff. So hopefully now that we're in 2021, a lot of that is behind us. Of course, we can't magically wave a wand and be like, oh, look, COVID's gone, yay. Oh, look, managed isolation's no longer needed. Unfortunately, going forward, this is the sort of life that we will live in, and we will have to sort of adapt to these things. But the fact that you're still around at the moment means that you yourself have adapted. I know for me, 2020 was a year of, quite a big year of change. And so in some ways, you know, I was okay with the 2020. Yes, some bad shit had happened, but as usual, that is what life is like. So this episode is going to be probably a shortish one, but I'm just going to talk a bit about not so much New Year's resolutions. Like, I know everyone always says, oh, my New Year's resolution is to do this. Mine are more going to be goals that I hope to achieve this year, as well as hopefully next year. And going forward in my life. So yeah, mine are going to be talking about the goals that I have, and you know why I've decided to make those goals. The first one, I haven't actually told anybody this apart from my family, and haven't really told my friends either yet. So if they do listen to this will be the first they hear of it. My first big goal is to go at least 80 to 90% plant-based with my food, with my diet. And you might go, Alex, why? You know, you're a big advocate for meat. You know, you love your meat and stuff. And yeah, I do. And so, you know, as I said, you may be asking, why, Alex, you're such a lover of meat and, you know, you love your food and all that sort of thing. Why go towards plant-based? Well, quite simply, my partner and I got her to watch The Game Changers, which is on Netflix, and it's a very, very good doco about these athletes that are basically have made the switch to plant-based, and while you think they would have, you know, like this bodybuilder, he would have no energy and he wouldn't be able to lift. He lifts better than he used to because he went plant-based. Now, I watched it originally a couple of months ago, I'll be honest, when it sort of got released, and sort of went, oh, okay. And I'd had a couple of, like, reservations and a couple of questions about it because, you know, as I said, I am quite the meat eater. You know, I'm used to having cheeseburgers and steak, and, you know, especially with the keto, given that the keto is very much eggs, meat, and veggies. Of course, with the plant-based diet, it is very much plant-based, so there are no eggs, there is no dairy, so effectively I'm going closer and closer, and I can't believe I'm saying this, and my friends will understand why, possibly veganism. Now, I'm not going to go the full hog just yet. I realize that because of my body and my diabetes and the way my health is, that I have to start looking at reducing the meat. That's the first option. So I actually started this about a week ago, maybe less than a week ago. So it started off with my partner watching The Game Changers and her going, you should watch this other one called What the Health. Now, both of those are available on Netflix, so I strongly urge everyone to check them out if you can, especially What the Health. That's the one that it didn't scare me so much, but it did pretty much make a lot more things wake me up to what this stuff is doing to my body. And so after that, I sort of decided, I can start making a way to it. So my goal, if you can call it that, instead of my New Year's resolution. In fact, yeah, we'll call it a goal. My goal is by the end of 2021, I will be sort of 90% plant-based in everything that I eat. That has, as I said, I have already started this. And while I have had a slip of a couple of meals with some meat, for the most part, I am doing pretty good with my plant-based part. Eating a lot of fruit, feeling a lot fuller than I thought I was going to, which is what's crazy. Another thing I am also trying to do is limit my sugar. Another film that's really, really good to hear is That Sugar film. Now that one you might have to search for because it's very, very hard to find. I don't think it's on Netflix or any of those other sorts of films, but you can find it if you know about certain things, Pirate Bay, torrents, that sort of thing. Then you may be able to find any of these particular docos. And yeah, watching That Sugar film again, because I'd seen it, a couple of years ago when I first acquired it, and then I had to reacquire it because I wanted to show my partner. And yeah, I love sugar. Okay, I love chocolate, I love ice cream, all that sort of stuff. That's the sort of thing that I've always loved. Now, that said, I am not a complete sweet tooth aficionado like some people. I do like my savoury, I do like my meats, I do like all that sort of stuff. So, in the span of about 24 hours, deciding to try to give up dairy, try to give up meat, processed meats for the most part, and then also to try and give up sugar. My mindset definitely was like, nah, there's no fucking way I can do this. But knowing that I'm doing it with my partner has helped, because she has, she's already started herself, and she's made some amazing meals that I've tried, which I would not have gone anywhere near to start with. So as I said, we've been doing this for about almost a week, maybe just a little bit less, maybe a little bit over. I can't really remember. The days always melt towards themselves when it's this time of the year, of course. But effectively, we have had things like tofu, which I personally do not like tofu, okay? But the way my partner cooks it, she sort of fries it, pan fries it, and it becomes more like a little piece of meat. And that I can eat. I quite like that. It's like an egg, the fluffiness of it. So it's not hard tofu, it's not squishy tofu, it's sort of semi-permanently firm. And yeah, I've really, really enjoyed that aspect, the tofu, in that way. The only other way that I like tofu is when it's put into a hot pot, and it's the sort of fried tofu which gets all spongy, but fills with all of the flavour of the hot pot. That's the only other way that I can eat tofu. But so eating it the way that my partner has made it has really, really helped. Because it got me thinking, I could make a stir fry. And of course, because we are no longer doing keto, but we are more doing plant-based, we can actually have a bit of bread now. And we can have some carbs, so we can have a bit of potato and stuff. And so that's got me thinking, like, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this. And so I can sort of substitute some of the meals that I have with the veggie alternative. Now, I don't usually do this. I actually went with my mother the other day to a restaurant, and 9 times out of 10, when we both order, I would order something like a steak or, something meaty based. And I actually got something called vegetable pancakes. And I was like, oh God, I am not going to enjoy this. But I'll be honest, I managed to eat half of one of the pancakes. It filled me. It literally filled me. And I actually brought the other half home so that my partner and our flatmate could try, who are both, my flatmate is basically a full vegetarian. So she doesn't eat meat at all. And so that was very, very cool. But yeah, the other day we tried the keto version. Well, not really keto, but we tried vegetarian sausages. And for someone like me who adores sausages, like original sausages, snags, or fat hot dogs for those that don't know, and I gotta admit, they weren't as bad as I thought they were going to be. I've previously had a couple of bad experiences with vegan meat, and of course I'm using air quotations when I say vegan meat, and so these were actually really, really nice. They were very tasty. They did taste a little bit bland, and that is where I discovered the biggest helper to this whole experience that I'm going to go through is sauces. So tomato sauce became my best friend. Now, yes, there is a lot of sugar in tomato sauce. There is a lot of sugar in things like barbecue sauce and all that sort of stuff as well. But baby steps. But yeah, I had some old school sort of vegan sausages with bread and on tomato sauce and stuff, and kind of like the old Kiwi sausage sizzle that we have, or if you're Australian, the Bunnings sausage sizzle, except instead of using real pork, you were using vegetarian meat. And yeah, they weren't bad. I did feel quite full after them, which again surprised me, because I was like, I never thought veggies would fill me. I always thought veggies were things that burn quickly, and basically, unless you're eating carbs, that's all that fills you. So yeah, that's my biggest sort of goal for this year, is to go 90% plant-based by the end of 2021, possibly 100 if I'm able to, and I will keep you guys informed about that particular aspect. The other sort of goal that I want to do is, for those that don't know, I used to be swimming in debt. Now I'm sort of paddling, okay? And by the end of this month, in January, I will have finally paid off my car, which is not bad for me, considering I would have paid it off in about 8 months. About 8 months. Which I never would have done before. It would have taken me, 2-3 years. So I've really ramped up on trying to save and get out of debt. But then that means that once I have actually paid off the car, I will have more money to pay off my other debt. And working out with my partner just before we did this podcast, it looks like I will pay off my remaining debt, which is around, 8,100, I think, possibly a little bit more. I will pay that off in about 11 pays once I transfer it to paying off the rest of my car, once I've paid off the rest of my car. So I'm pretty shocked that I could be, for the first time in my life, debt-free and able to actually save. And I know you'll be like, oh, first time in your life, really, Alex? But yeah, no, really. Ever since I sort of started working, I would buy things and have no money and spend. And then, certain things happened and I had to get a loan, or I had to travel, and I travelled on all these things when I didn't have the money. So yeah, it's going to be a very interesting experience to be able to pay off everything and potentially be debt-free within 6 months. Meaning that then, my next goal is I will actually start to be able to put down a deposit on a home and actually buy a house. At the moment, I am relying on my potential KiwiSaver to come up. And for those that don't know, KiwiSaver is a New Zealand retirement scheme. Myself, I'm actually on a different retirement scheme, but one of the advantages of the KiwiSaver is that you can use the money, take it out early and use it as a first home buying situation. So me and my partner will try to buy our first home, or at least start looking at the after I've paid off all my debt this year. Then whatever we decide to do with the property is, probably time for another podcast for another time. But yeah, those are my big goals. And of course, the last one is to get healthy. I know I've started being healthier than I was, but I want to get to that pinnacle level where, I don't need to watch what I can eat. I can eat what I need to, but because of my behaviours and my environment, then I'm actually in the space where I can turn around and say no to certain things, like, the sweets and the double helpings or the extra large helpings. These things are going to be quite interesting, quite life-changing for me. Coming into this year, I had some life changes that I wanted to make and did definitely start to make those. And I just believe that if I can keep going on this path, then I will... At the moment, I'm like a caterpillar. I'm in the chrysalis of my stage. I am starting to change. I'm starting to think differently. I'm starting to think more. I'm reading more books. I'm educating myself. And then soon I will transform into that beautiful butterfly. And then, rather than flying away, I'll be here to guide the next people that sort of come through, which has always been part of what I wanted to do with my YouTube and all that sort of thing that I wanted to start up. So now I want to ask each and every one of you that is listening to let me know what your goals are. Do you have the same sort of ones as me? Do you want to be debt free? Do you want to be, do you want to lose weight? Do you want to get healthy? Do you want to get a new job? Let me know through my email, which is Don Costas, that's DON for Nike, COSTAS @gmail.com. I would love to hear from you, as well as what your goals are and, what have you left behind in 2020? I know that's something that's coming out not now a lot on Instagram, is what you left behind. What were the memories that you left behind? And, people are putting up all these posts and photos of like previous things that have happened within the year. Me personally, 2020 sucked with some things. I wouldn't go as far myself, and that again is my opinion and myself by myself. I wouldn't go towards the thing of thinking that I missed out and that 2020 should never have happened and all that sort of stuff. It did happen. What we do now is how we grow. This is how we evolve and adapt. For me, I've done a lot of adapting and evolving this year, and I kind of look forward to what I have to learn next year. Speaking of learning, I am now going to do my usual little advocate for getting out there and listening to audiobooks and reading. For those that don't know, if you have a library card, there is an app you can use called Libby. It's libby.com. It is basically a way for you to read books as well as listen to audiobooks that have been picked up by your local library, and that includes like the region. So for me, I live in Wellington. My local library would be sort of Miramar, for example. But with Libby, it's just got to be sort of the region, like New Zealand. And you can actually borrow those books as you would borrow them through a library. But another thing that you can do is get audiobooks. And sometimes you're lucky enough to get an audiobook which actually has the characters on the back of the display, meaning that this is a character-specific one, as well as a ability for you to use that particular app to download either the audiobook or the written book. Now, I started off my journey of trying to get to 40 books by the end of this year. Well, no, originally it was 30 books, but then I upped it because I hit 30 quite quickly. I finished the year on 38 books, completely read, or in my case, listened to, which I am very shocked by because I did not think I would be able to do that. But, another thing that I plan to do is to upgrade my mental health in that respect and upgrade my knowledge and hopefully change that number for this year and hit sort of 45 to 50 books easily. That's what I want to be able to get to. So I encourage people, if they haven't got the Libby app, go to your app store, find it, download it, get your library card, dig it out from wherever it was, or if it's in your wallet, grab it out of your wallet, enter the details, and then you can have an access to a massive, wide range of books that you can listen to or read. I love this app, and it's all totally free. You don't have to pay for anything. You don't have to worry about ads. You don't have to worry about anything like that. So I strongly suggest it to people. So now that I've asked sort of what it is that your goals are and all that sort of things, I want to say a huge thank you to everyone that listens. I know I say this almost every week, but I truly do mean it. While this can feel like the ramblings of an old man, because I feel old at the moment, it is lovely to know that there are people listening. It is lovely to know that you are out there. I've said from the start that I want this to be sort of a community. And while, this community only has it feels like one member talking, I know that you guys are out there and you are listening. So I truly, truly, truly appreciate each and every one of you that does listen, or goes back and listens to other podcasts. Like, I'm not going to lie, this is a fantastic experience for me. Looking before, I'm sitting at sort of 470 odd listens on this podcast, which is crazy to me because I only started this in maybe March, April. I never in a million years thought I'd be that close to 500 listens within a year of starting this podcast. And I've still got another 4 months and I've got 30 people. I just need 30 more listens and then I'm there, which that's crazy to me. That is literally crazy. And people viewing my website, like I've had over 1,000 views this year and I only started it this year. So that sort of thing is crazy to me. So a huge thank you to my audience. I appreciate you guys. I really do. I hope I can get to the stage where I can share a lot more and also teach you all a lot more about what I learn myself. Most of the stuff you can find online, obviously. Some of it I've thought out by myself, but at the same time, I appreciate everyone that does come and listen to my ramblings again. And I wish you all a happy new year. I hope that everyone sticks to their goals, follows their goals, becomes the person that they want to become. And if you're already pretty perfect, then I want you to keep being perfect. Just because I'm changing, I do not expect anybody else to change. You are your own person. And I have found that when I keep everything to myself and I look at exactly what is going on in my life and what I need to change, if I'm smart enough to listen to myself and analyze exactly what it is that I'm thinking, then I usually get a better result of where I want my life to go, as well as what I want to do with my life. So yeah, keep strong, kia kaha, and keep listening. And contact me, please, doncostas@gmail.com. I know I say it every time. I'd love to hear from you. I think it would be great to engage with some of you and talk a bit more about what it is that you're going through. And, you know, if you've had a hard time, reach out. If you had a great time, reach out. Let me know. Until next time, I wish you all Happy New Year. Love you, and be good and safe.